Hello everyone, this is our first video and we decided to talk about depression. So firstly we have to understand what depression is. So we researched, we had some past experience with it and we asked some psychology students in our university about depression and stuff. So we came up with a definition of it. So actually depression is a common or a serious medical issue that messes up with your mind, which leads to sadness, loneliness, or sometimes even if it's like a major depression, it also leads to suicidal cases and stuff. So we decided to go around and ask from our friends in the university, through our contacts and stuff, and we found out the reasons of why they go through depression and other things. So the first issue we came across, and the answer we got, the most answers we got, was that everyone was depressed for the exams and the results of their exams, and we are in a period of our exam. We are in our exam periods right now, so everyone was like, we are really depressed with our exams. You know, it's a big burden for us to study and get good grades and stuff. So the first issue we got was examinations, the study issues, and then we got the relationship issues, like people break up and stuff. Then we got friendship issues, like if I have a best friend and he hurts me in some way, or he's not there when I need him, so that also gets you, a bit hurted and stuff. So it could be a reason, or your friendship ends with someone really special you want to be with, in terms of friends, not relationships. So we got that. And we got some job issues as well, I guess. People are not, they don't feel secure at their job. The work environment is not good. They go in depression and stuff. And there might be many more reasons for depression. But I would like Ahmad to start and share some statistics about it.
Okay. So there are 300 million people that have depression around the world, according to the World Health Organization. And we have 16.2 million adults in the US that are suffering from depression.
That's too much.
This accounts for 6.7% of the whole US population.
Wow.
This is massive. And if you think you are depressed, well, a ton of people are depressed, and this doesn't mean the end of the world. There are more statistics. 50% of people diagnosed of depression are also diagnosed of anxiety disorder, and 15% of adults will experience depression at some point in their life. So if you're an adult and you're experiencing depression, so you're just part of that 15%. And 15% is a huge number, so that doesn't mean it's the end of the world again.
So let's talk more about depression, Rahman. So I think that depression can be conquered. And I know it's not easy. I've been through depression myself, and it's not easy to go through that phase and have, completely pass that phase. One thing that people, according to me, Noman, do is they try to ignore that part. I think ignoring it makes it more worse than it is already. So I think people should actually go through that phase and come over it, rather than ignoring it. So how to come over it is to embrace the fact that happened. That mostly there are external and materialistic factors that happen to a man or woman in general, to which leads them towards depression. And I think most people are like, even in the books, I read a couple of books, some said to, make yourself busy, go out with friends, have, work hard and do stuff. I agree with those things. But I don't completely agree with it. I partly agree with it, because I think we should get those things in ourselves, we should absorb it and then move on with it. No matter how, if it's like, let's just take examples, right? If you have relationship issues, right? And someone special leaves you, so that's not the end of the world, like you said, right? There might be someone else outside more better waiting for you, right? And if it's exams, so trust me, exam grades, I'm not an A-star student, right? I am an average student, right? I have big dreams myself, and I am working for them, I'm working hard. So it's not, so even B grades, people who are having A-stars have not accomplished things that I have already accomplished in my life. So it's not, grades are not important to suggest how successful you're going to be or what your career path is going to be. I've seen people doing medical and then they do the MBA in business and then they go apply for for banks.
Yeah.
So you have to decide what you have to be, and grades are not the major factor in it. They are a factor. You can say they're like 1% of the factor, but you have 99% other things that affect your career and your success. So don't cry on your grades, please. You have to work hard, you have to study. If you know you want to do something, you study, you go towards that path. But don't be depressed and upset if you don't have good grades, because those don't determine.
Yes, okay, so Hani, we've said that our first recommendation would be to embrace it. Secondly, what we would advise people to really go for is find something that you can hold on to.
Go to that person or friend you trust the most and share stuff with them.
Yes, exactly, yes, and that's the whole
to
point.
open up about
Yes.
depression, because
Yes.
what I think people do, they don't share it with people because they think that they're going through some mental illness and they feel ashamed to share
Yeah,
it.
and as we have just seen, there's nothing to be ashamed of.
Exactly.
Most of the people you know have been through depression, and most of the elders, your parents or relatives, grandparents, they've been through depression, and they might help you, and they will help you because they care about you.
I've seen some people who get depressed and they actually use it as a motivation for achieving their goals, their dreams, and they do achieve. So what do you think big people like Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg, they have been through depression, they have a lot of stress, but you see now where they are today. They're on the top of the world. Their earnings are just mind blowing. People admire them, they're inspiration for like people like us. I admire Bill Gates a lot, even Mark Zuckerberg, we have Elon Musk. All of these leaders we have, they're really admirable. And they go through this stuff themselves. I think it's a part of life. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. It's just that how are you going to use that to generate rather than throw you back. I think people should learn how to take that depression or that stress to motivate them, work more harder, and pass through it like a champ. No matter how bad your situation is, you should know that this is not the end. This is not how your story is going to end. I understand it is hard, but I want you to believe that this phase of your life will pass and you will become much more stronger and happier than you ever were. If you learn how to change your pain into shaping and motivating yourself, then no one can stop you from where you want to be. We all need to understand that it is not easy, life is hard, it is challenging, and we have to fight it and prove ourselves. Life is like a roller coaster. At times you will be at the top, and times will come when you will be at a low point. All the problems we have to fight it. We all need to fight the darkness and embrace the light.